Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni, the Great Malabite. Malabite, action.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Wimbai.
Good morning, Mr. Efeni.
Good morning, Rufai.
Is that C4 with this, your Malabite? I will go there. And I met an older Malabite yesterday. I should bring both of you. I've forgotten her name now. I said they were 2 years ahead of that. They were the real Malabres.
Okay, are you aware that the new managing director of Zenith Bank is also a Malabres?
A Malabres?
Yes, MBA, University of Calabar.
Malabres.
That's all right. Anyway, that's how we roll.
She's one of your Amazons. Those banking Amazons.
That's how we roll. Let's start the newspaper review with These Days, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Now, we start with the story above the masthead. Federal government to Meta. Nigeria ready with gifted youths to lead Africa in digital technology vision. New feature coming on Instagram that will allow Nigerian creators to monetize their content, says Nick Clegg. Of course, the Meta top echelon of the Meta management were at the villa yesterday. He had interacted with President Bola Tinubu, and the assurance that Nigerian youths will be in a better position to monetize their content on Instagram. I think that should be music to the ears of many Nigerians who spend all day, so many nights on Instagram. After all, money will be coming, and that's the whole idea, and the president reiterating the fact that Nigerian youths are ready to lead the digital technology revolution in Africa. Now, if we look at the story just below the masthead, the second lead, Oborowori to traditional rulers. If you shield criminals, you are inviting trouble. We won't rest until we arrest killers of our men, recover our weapons, GOC vows. Says, through recovery operations in Okama, Army will make sure no one ever attacks it again. What does that mean? Well, the Army need to also allow independent individuals to enter Okwama, because what is going on now, nobody knows. What the military is doing there, nobody knows. And there are reports elsewhere that the people, because they're looking for the culprits, so definitely not all the citizens are part of the attack, because there are culprits they are pursuing all over the place. So those innocent residents, indigenous citizens in Okwama must not be made to suffer unduly. 6 days, many of the women, children, they are still in the forest, unable to get out because the military has taken over the place. Of course, we know many have also lost their homes because their homes were set on fire, as we saw in that video and that picture, which first appeared, of course, on the military website with the title Audacity before it was pulled down. So, who did it? You cannot just be burning the houses of innocent citizens while we condemn in very strong terms the killing of Nigerian soldiers. Now, I'm sure that newspapers still have that story. Then the lead story of this, the Tinubu, those alleging malicious embellishment of budget didn't understand the arithmetic, says nation security economic challenges over soon. Confident problems can't defeat Nigeria. NEC discloses FCT states owe 1.7 trillion naira for budget support facility. Shetima boasts government will leave legacy of prosperity, opportunity for all. Yes, I like the positive outlook from the president and the vice president. But Nigerians need to feel it in their pocket, feel it in their pot of soup, feel it in their kitchen, where their money is unable to buy enough for the family these days. A lot of Nigeria, of course, people like Ruben who are well-heeled, They received requests from all around, far and near. Somebody sent me a request and saying he needs 10,000. I said, well, 10,000. As I was thinking, he said, but not only 10,000 I'd asked for. I said, only 10,000? Okay, I don't have 10,000 to spare. Thank you. So we receive all these requests because people are in dire straits. Of course, in our own little way, we also give palliative, Ruben, to those who are in very difficult situation right now. Now, if we look at well, the issue of the budget, which the president was talking about, but there's still a lot that you need to unpack. Ita Enang, Senator Ita Enang, one time special advisor on National Assembly matters to President Buhari, was in a studio. And he said, if you need to go through that budget, that due diligence, because the normal practice is that when the budget is passed, the executives also still need to take a look by ministry to see how the budgets were altered. That a case where the president signed, the budget was passed on the 31st, and the president signed on the 1st of January, of course, there was no time to do that kind of due diligence. But something is said, and which we have to take a serious look. 65% of our Greek ministry budget unrelated to food security. And he said he's saying it with all sense of responsibility. Only 35% of Ministry of Agri budget is related to food security matters. So what are we talking about? Well, everywhere. Let's just move on. Rufai. Now, the Guardian newspaper, land grabbers, speculators wreak havoc on citizens' investments. Of course, that's a big story in the Guardian newspaper. Despite the existence of 1978, a Land Use Act of 1978, many are saying, is due for review. Well, the state governments are in charge of land going by that act, which is part of the Constitution. But the Omoniles, land grabbers, this continue to wreak havoc. Now, if we look at the Business Day newspaper, tide turned for Naira, but foreign investors want more. Yes, convertibility risk spooks foreigners from local auction. Of course, the central bank seems to be striking all the right note and is making all the right moves to attract foreign portfolio investors into a market that burned fingers in the last 8 years. But there are still some headwinds. But with the value of the Naira appreciating, with the gap between the parallel and the official market closed, very close now, not much room for the kind of arbitrage we saw in the past. Well, things seem to be looking up. Now, if we just look at the Daily Trust newspaper, thousands may miss Ramadan Umrah as Saudi Arabia fails to issue visas. Agents to incur losses after booking hotels. Pilgrims lament. The Punch newspaper, 16 governors back state police, submit reports to federal government. Federal government awaits 20 states report, says NEC. Now, for there to be state police, there has to be some constitutional amendment. If 20 states are not on board, you need at least 2/3 of the states to okay whatever amendments will be done to the Constitution for this to become a reality. So why are 20 states foot dragging on this matter? Of course, on the picture on the front page of the Punch newspaper, yes, they call them mining marshals. Smoke out illegal miners. Federal government tell 2,200 new mining marshals. Yes, Dele Alake, journalist, politician, well, it's making waves in the Ministry of Mines. And now we have over 2,000 mining marshals. What they will be doing to police the mines, ensure that illegal mining don't go on and all mining are accounted for. Because mining can be the new oil if we deal with that sector properly. So the challenge Dele Alake has taken, he said, well, his appointment to that ministry was deliberate by the president. And we'll keep a watching brief on how he make progress in that ministry. The Nation newspaper, federal government, governors slowing down work on state police. While the Vanguard newspaper, killing of soldiers, Okwama women, children trapped in forest for 6 days. Neighboring communities refuse to accept Okwama residents. Starvation looms in Igbomoturo in Bayelsa. Over military siege, residents can't farm, they can't fish. Man, abandoned wife escapes with 2 children. Oborowori cautions rulers against shielding suspect. Well, the problem of the killing of those soldiers, the military searching, pursuing the culprits, and they've taken over his community in Bayelsa State. And I think we hear from people from that community where the Ijaw National Congress president has said they have killed over 80 persons in that community. I don't know how you can justify the killing of 80 persons in one community. Is something the president has to look at. And I'm sure if he doesn't, well, at the appropriate time, some persons who are responsible for that will also be called to answer. You can't kill fellow Nigerians, 80 of them, according to the Ijaw National Congress president, and will just act as if nothing has happened. Now, the Tribune newspaper, Okwama killings, GOC soldiers to remain in the creeks until Delta governor cautions traditional rulers against shielding suspects. Now, the Friday leadership, now the leadership newspaper, 36% of Nigerian major bank CEOs now women. Okay. Yes, that's the kind of affirmative action you want to see in politics also, right?
50%.
50%. Make do with 35, then we'll march to 50, yes, right?
Yes, at least we're moving in the right direction.
We're with you all the way. You know, modern men like us, we're with you, women, all the way. Supporting women to get to the top, right? Good. Now, the Independent newspaper of UK, pensions fiasco could cost taxpayer £10.5 billion or more. Yes, Downing Street, damning watchdog report tells government it must compensate thousands of women who were not warned pensionable age was changing from 60 to 65, but number 10 refuses to agree to pay out. Well, that law came into existence while some retired early, so they're now asking for compensation. But another problem in the UK workplace, the Times of London, 1 million more people cite mental health battle, nearly half of working age disability claims. But there was a report yesterday where Mel's tried, the work and pension secretary, was saying that many people claiming mental health and receiving benefits don't really have mental health. He said it's just anxiety, and they will term it as mental health. And he said they should please go and look for work. Well, just the last foreign paper here, the Guardian newspaper of London. U.S. toughened stance to call for immediate ceasefire. The U.S. has drafted a new UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire and hostage deal in Gaza, amid, of course, mounting pressure on Israel to halt its military campaign, in which it has killed so many people in what looked like a genocidal act on the Palestinian people. Reuben, Rufai, and Vimbai.
It's not in what looked like it.
It is.
It's a genocide on the Palestinian people. And let's not deceive ourselves. Because if we increasingly cannot rein an Israel in, just like, and I'm going to segue
Who is going to rein in
into what is happening in Okwama community now and communities by Bayelsa. If we cannot rein an Israel in, and Netanyahu keeps claiming that he wants a military action that he will soon be done with Hamas, that he's been saying for a while, and nothing is being done, then we should look ourselves in the eyes and say, do we really have a fair world? We don't, as we speak today. We don't. And the reason why they can do this and get away with it is because the other party does not have this equal power and equal strength. So there is one that outweighs the other.
And equal backing.
And equal backing. And America must really look at themselves in the eye and say, in all of this, you're still giving a lot of military aid also to Israel in all of this. So America, the shame is on America as we speak as regards this. This must not continue. The annihilation and total destruction of life must not continue. Just like what we are seeing in Oklahoma. That's why I say, let's not make the mistake of a danger of a single story. The military has not allowed anybody to get into Oklahoma now. We are hearing about killings here and there in Bielsa. The military has a narrative. If what's it called, human rights agencies around the world start to write the military will get offended and say no. But we are seeing all of these things happen. We are not saying don't go after those that perpetrated this. Even if you go after them, they must still face the legal system in this country. It's a democracy we have. So these petitions that you are now seeing that the president of the Congress is getting about people being killed here and there, I'm not sure that's part of the brief. And why is it that how many days, close to a week after, even the state governor, Sheriff Oboriwori, cannot get into Okwama as we speak. So what has gone on there?
Okay, now the UN Security Council is going to vote today on that draft resolution by the United States. And there is a significant shift here, even if some people are saying there is a certain ambiguity there. Now, the way the Americans have now drafted their proposal is to insist on immediate ceasefire. Now, that immediate ceasefire is towards the end of exchange of hostages. Now, there are some people saying that is ambiguous. But what seems to be clear is that there is a shift. There's emphasis on immediate ceasefire, and then that the release of hostages is not a condition for that ceasefire. And similarly, the UK, through Lord Cameron, the Foreign Secretary, is saying that if he gets legal advice that Israel is violating international humanitarian law, which, of course, Israel is violating, the law of armed conflict, all the conditions have been violated by Israel.
Using starvation as a means of war.
When the vote comes up at the UN Security Council today, the Security Council has membership of 15. What you need is just 9 majority, and then it passes.
With all the permanent members voting in one direction.
The big five will not veto. If any one of them vetoes, it's out. It doesn't work. But it's important to see that the international community is concerned about the regime of international humanitarian law.
For once, the U.S. is not concerned
about
the death. They've never used the word, they've been avoiding the word ceasefire. They've even added immediate ceasefire.
No, they are more definite. Then, as for the state police, no, it's not. We're still at the level of proposals. 16 states went to the National Economic Council to express their support. What Stanley Nkocha, the spokesperson for the vice president, who is chairman of the Economic Council, said, is that they are still compiling. So they are waiting for 20 states to also express their support. But if you check Nigeria Governors Forum, speaking through their chairman, there seems to be general support for, state police. And then in February, you recall the president and the state governors expressed support. And in February, a bill was proposed on the floor of the National Assembly. It has entered third reading in the House of Representatives. So there is a move towards it. But what you were referring to is Section 9 of the Constitution, which tells you the step-by-step process for amending the Constitution. You will need 2/3 majority of the National Assembly, which will mean 72 members of the Senate, 240 members of the House of Reps. And then you will need 2/3 majority of the state houses of assembly for you to be able to amend the Constitution. That's the process by way of a quick summary. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni.